Is it this one? There we go. All right. Will I upload this talk to YouTube? I don't know yet. Certainly I won't be uploading my own YouTube to YouTube. So I didn't have music off here because I was playing in a single player environment. So if you guys look at some of the basic Eureka boosts right here, found a city on the coast gives you a sailing boost, build a natural wonder gives you an astrology boost, farm a resource gives you an irrigation boost. A lot of these are going to just happen. Then if you look at some of the military ones, like getting archery boost is kill a unit with a slinger. Getting bronze working is kill 3 barbarians. Getting the wheel is, some of these are a little bit more specific than others. And some of the ones for example, the civics tree are like build a wonder or this type of thing. So there is going to be stuff that isn't super easy to do. Some of this looks like pretty generic stuff, like you're going to do it just as part of your game. And as long as you haven't researched the tech ahead of time, you're still going to get that boost. So part of it may be about delaying certain techs to get that. Do only the first 3 techs not have a Eureka bonus? That's my understanding, yes. Have I talked about the new happiness in housing? I haven't. New happiness is just called amenities. They're still luxuries, just like there were in Civ 5. The penalties for happiness seemed less bad. The growth penalty was only 15% to begin with. Housing I didn't mess around with too much in this playthrough. Are melee units useless now? No, but they got nerfed. Yes, you can get a Eureka boost if you don't have the actually, I don't know about not having the prerequisite. I believe yes, but I'm not entirely sure about that. Am I able to upload raw footage? I'm restricted to upload raw footage. I can do footage with commentary, but I can't do raw footage. I kind of would like to give you raw footage. Maybe I will do real basic commentary at some point, but it would take me a number of hours to do that. They complete half the tech. I'm per cat. So if you already have the tech 99% done, you just get 1%. You don't get a boost to your next tech. Eureka, I don't know about Overflow Seek. I don't know about Science Overflow in general, but the Eureka boost isn't overflowed. How many techs are there now? I didn't count. Yeah, this is me playing. This is my gameplay footage. You can see how frustrating scouting is with the terrain as it is right now. Rivers are brutal too. Rivers require, I'm not sure if they require 2 movement points or all of your action points, but I think it's all of your action points to cross a river, which means you have to start your turn adjacent to a river. You can't move 1 tile closer to it then cross, at least not with two movement units. Maybe with scouts. What's the other thing researching? Oh, we weren't clear on this? Alright, if you guys haven't watched the other video yet, and I didn't feel like showing the other one right away, because I just wanted the basic ones. So right now you get 2 tech trees, always. The first tech tree is your science tech tree. It runs on science. It does all your basic technologies. The second one is your civics tech tree. And I actually think, if you haven't watched the other video, you should go watch it. I think civics is the coolest new feature in Civilization 6 by far. But the civics tech tree is a tech tree that you tech for concurrently with the science tech tree. It runs on culture, so the more culture you have, the faster you move through the civics tech tree. And it does lots of really cool things. I think that is by far the feature I'm most excited about. So maybe we'll watch this gameplay footage and then we'll head back and maybe we'll watch the other YouTube video together. Did I try this game on lowest graphics? I wasn't able to change any of those settings. All of these settings were default settings from the PCs they had us playing on. Giant enemy crab, yeah, he's a like 5th level boss right there. Alright, I did turn down my mic. Am I quiet right now? See if that helps a little bit. Yes, gopher. I'm sure it is IDD. This clearly is not Hellblazer's map script. Oh right, you guys probably can't see them. I don't know if I found any in this playthrough or not, but goodie huts now are slightly different. They're a little bit harder to spot. So far, they have given me, on Prince difficulty, I had one give me a scout, I had one give me a builder, I had one give me gold, I think. I think maybe even one gave me a map. I'm not entirely sure about this. Volume on me or volume on the game? Well, it was on Prince difficulty, Victor, so that may or may not still be there. I know on Settler difficulty in Civ 5 you could get stuff out of urns too.
No man ever wetted clay and then left it, as if there would be bricks by chance and for.
Is it easier to build stuff now or faster to build stuff now? I don't think overall that's true. I may have got another scout from a rune in this playthrough. That seems pretty likely if I have 2 right off the bat. Military units seem to take maybe a little bit quicker, but again, there's so many bonuses in the early game, and the bonuses are so big depending on what you select that it's really difficult to say, I think, overall if things are faster or not. Do scouts also need double movement for hills or not? Well, scouts don't have... You know how they have ignore terrain in Civ 5? They don't have ignore terrain in Civ 6. They're exactly the same type of movement as all other types of units, except that they have 3 movement points instead of 2, and scouts get promotions now from scouting, basically. And those promotions can be things like, I think there's a hill promotion. I think there was a forest promotion. So you can get scouts that get better movement in hills, but you have to get them promoted to do it. Alright, let's keep going. Yep. Yeah, that red is a visual indication of the zone of control from barbarians now, so if you're not clear about zone of control, it should be a little bit easier to spot. Have I found any natural wonders? I do find a natural wonder in this one, QBS. So I'm actually really looking forward to this one. You guys should get an absolute kick out of how the barbarians in this one. Scout XP change sounds excellent. Maybe the promotions were a little bit difficult to use. It turns out your scouts want to go through wooded terrain and hills, and it's not very clear on which of those you should ever promote for because there's no real reason to think that the terrain will stay consistent. Alright, there's a new Barbarian Mechanic that if you guys may or may not know, and I got direct dev confirmation on how this works, so this is out of the horse's mouth per se. So basically how it works, the Barbarian Scout moves towards your city if he sees a district, or I assume the city capital counts as a district, so if he sees a district or a city capital, he has basically spotted your city. At that point, he will attempt to return to his camp. If he makes it adjacent to his camp, he will spawn another barbarian who will basically try to go raid your city. The scout at that point is released and he can go do it again. He'll go look for a city, go back to the camp. Go look for a city, go back to the camp. My understanding is he can target the same city over and over and over again. Just FYI. I didn't see scouts pillaging at all, and I didn't see them stealing. I don't know if they can or can't, but they may actually only be reconnaissance units. Caravans are still in the game. Yeah, caravans are very, very important now. So I don't know if you guys caught it, right? But like roads are so different right now, and roads were one of the absolute most important features of Civilization 5. Currently, roads are built in Civ 6 in the early game. There's apparently a tech a little bit later that allows you some military roading options, I guess. I never got to that tech specifically and wasn't attempting to get to it in these. But in the early game, you can't build roads on tiles. And if you look how much slower moving around is because of rough terrain, this is actually really painful. In the early game, what creates roads are caravans. You want a road between 2 places, the only way you can get that road is you send a caravan to that location. And you can only send caravans to other cities, either player cities, city-states, or your own cities, right? So that means really the roads, only roads that are going to exist are roads that you've created between those locations. Is that culture from Silk? No, I don't think so. I don't think there was culture on any of the basic yields that I saw. Hey, Hammers. I don't know, Seek. So again, to talk about my philosophy going into this, I wasn't real interested in looking at later game text since I couldn't reveal a lot of that to you guys anyways, and I don't really care that much in the sense of they're going to be there. I'm going to get to them when I can get to that content, but let's focus on the early game mechanics. The mechanics were much more interesting to me than the actual value of, is it turn 70 or turn 80? That's subject to change right now. That's subject to change all the way up until release. Do I care exactly if the tech path is machinery into whatever else? No, I don't care at all, because that's subject to change up to there. What I wanted to see was what design decisions did the devs actually make differently about this game, and how do those design decisions really play out for what we're going to see gaming wise. Pantheons are still in the game, but I can't talk about them. No scope. There's oh, you guys want to see this? Hold on. Oh, I clicked through that too fast. Can I back it up? Let's see if I can back it up without fucking things up. There we go. All right. Mount Kilimanjaro. One tile impassable natural wonder. It appears as a mountain and provides +2 food to all adjacent tiles. Discovery of natural wonder gives scouts bonus experience. Natural wonders also give an adjacency bonus to holy site districts, and adjacency. All adjacent tiles receive +2 appeal. Okay. So if you look at the yields when we start scouting around that mountain, they're absolutely nuts. Oh, guys, did you see that? Okay, that was a goodie rune, a goodie hut. It's a little bit harder to spot on the map than I'm used to, but what our scout just moved into, there. See it on the right? Oh shit, we moved it too far back. Hold on. What's a district? It's a new subtype of specialization for cities. Okay, see this little? It looks like 6 orangish tents with the green thing in the middle. That is, that's the new goodie hut. These are new ancient runes. That one gave me a pop point, it looks like. So that was a eureka moment for the civics tree, so giving me a boost to my cultural stuff. Do you get a notification for spotting runes? Not that I noticed, but again, it's too early to be. That type of finishing work is going to happen later, in my opinion.
That makes a law.
All right, this system is so fucking cool. All right, so when you first hit the very first civics tech that you hit, right? What you get options. These are your 4 options, and you can, if you look at the slots on the left, what they represent are the types of cards. So there's 4 types of cards, and I don't remember what the exact names are, but the red is basically military, the yellow is basically infrastructure, there's a green, which I believe is diplomatic, and then there's a purple, which I think is wild card, right? So my government's type to begin with is like basic, like chiefdom government, right? It only has 2 slots. It has 1 military yeah, it's actually the things are right here, yeah. So it's military, economic, diplomatic, and wild card. The type of government that I have right now only has two slots available to it. 1 military type and 1 economic type. Now, the thing is, pretty much every single tech you hit, you can change this on your own. You can change this when you want by, I think, spending gold. Otherwise, you can change this when you get a tech in the civics tree. And you get a lot of these cards really, really quickly, which means that your options are really diverse. And these cards are, I mean, these first ones are not massively impactful, but they are fairly impactful. Like +5 combat strength versus barbs is essentially a 25% increase in combat strength. +1 production from all cities right now is probably in the vicinity of maybe like a 20 or 15% increase in production. But some of the productions are absolutely nuts. There's a 50% production to settlers. There's 100% production to like early game like cavalry units. There is I think 30% production to builders, stuff like this, right? So these production bonuses are really, really big. And when you get to actually sit in the game and start playing around with these, it's going to allow some pretty cool strategies in the early game. You're basically going to be able to specialize your early game, and not only specialize what you're doing as a whole in the early game, but specialize every 5 or 6 or 6 or 7 turns to be like, okay, right now I'm not quite ready for settlers. I want to do some military production, and I can do that super efficiently right now. Or I want to do settlers now, and I don't need military, and you can do that super efficiently. And I'm pretty pleased with that. I think it's going to allow for some really, really cool stuff. Okay. No, this is on quick speed. The default was quick speed, and you weren't able to change the speed. Yeah, I agree. You don't have to commit to a tree, and it lets you be really dynamic with what you're gonna do in any given moment. Can't see my hand. Is it not full screen? Well, it's supposed to be full screen. Could turn off that camera, I suppose, but we'll leave it. Alright, so this is a civics tree. I don't know if we've had a look at this yet, but you can start taking a look at the types of stuff that you need to get the boosts for the civics tree. Those cards are what they look like. They are different cards. So as you unlock more civics tree policies, you have more cards. And if you look, pretty much every single tech has some type of card associated with it. Mostly the civics techs seem to be... there's trade routes on them. There were a couple wonders built into the civics techs, and there was a lot of these empire cards. Does changing policy incur costs? No. Only if you do it in between techs. Every time you get a new, I believe it's every time you get a new card, but perhaps it's just every civics tech. I'm not exactly sure on the mechanic of that. You get prompted if you want to change the cards that you're using in your government. Eventually, you'll get options of new governments. We do that a little bit later. I don't think in this one, but it's in my YouTube video where you get more government options, and the government options are also specialized. So some of them might be a military government, in which case they have a bunch of military card slots, but less of the other slots, or they might be a economic government or whatever it happens to be. But as the governments get more complex, as you get later into the game, they have more overall card slots in general. So that overall, the government's going to be giving you a bigger bonus across time as you get further into that. Multiplayer games are going to take longer because of slow combat and card management. Maybe. It's really hard to say. That's almost impossible to predict with the amount of game experience I've had. Hey, Boots. Did I get an affiliation link for pre-order? I have an affiliation link anyways on my YouTube, my Twitch. You're always welcome to order through that. Do I know if you get a tech cost reduction for meeting other players? I don't yet, Bing. What's an amenity? It's basically a luxury. I mean, I believe it even gave. I don't think it's measured quite like that. It's not like measured in like total happiness now. It's basically measured, I think, now in like your city is like, oh, we need a certain amount of amenities for this population or this, and if you have that amount of amenities, you get it, and if you don't, I didn't play too much with that system. I went unhappy, quote unquote, where I didn't have enough amenities, and it seemed to be very negligible. It had some growth bonuses, etc. So it doesn't seem quite as punishing. It wasn't like the 75% growth penalty that it is. I think it was a 15% penalty. So. Yeah, I mean, look at the yields over there compared to everything else. You're seeing faith? Perhaps there is culture or faith on some of the base yields matter. You could be right. It does look like that. I'm looking over there and I'm seeing, as the camera moves around, I'm seeing that little purple icon, which looks like culture on silk over there. So perhaps there was a base yield on that. That could possibly be true. Yeah, I don't normally play with music on, but music was on for this, and I'll leave it for the sake of this, right? We can always pause to talk. I didn't get around to improving a coastal resource. I would have liked to have, just to see how it's done. I'm not sure if it's a workboat or a builder or what the deal is. I definitely had, in a different game, I had a city start where my city was inland, and there was one tile near me. I thought it was a lake tile, but it had a crab in it. So either resources have been moved to freshwater, or you can now have one tile oceans. I don't know which. Missed the goodie hat? I may have. I don't see them. Like, I have so many hours in Civ 5 that I see Civ 5 ruins are very, very vibrant to me, but the Civ 6 ones were a little bit less clear. No chipmunk. So this is kind of an interesting thing too. I'm not sure how this will work in multiplayer because I don't know if you can say no to this yet. But basically when you first encounter another civilization, and I'm not sure how it determines this, it's supposedly the civ that doing the scouting. Some of the devs are talking about this in the game. But anyways, once you meet another civilization, your scout gets quote-unquote invited to sample the hospitality. And what this does, this is essentially establishing an embassy without the embassy bonuses. It gives you sight on their capital briefly, so you get to see the capital of the person you've just met. Now, I don't remember. I don't know how it determines which scout does it. If two scouts meet in the middle of nowhere, do both people get to sample the hospitality? I don't know. But what it means is, and I don't know if you can refuse this. Like, I can refuse to do this as the person who would get to see sight, but I don't know if he, as a recipient, can choose to not give me sight. So let me see capitals in a way that you can't do in Civ 5 right now, which is interesting. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out multiplayer, because you might basically have to give up the location and the immediate surroundings of your capital whenever another scout comes and finds you. I think it's just you find ocean, quite honestly, nonsensical. Or maybe it's an amount of space. I'm not entirely sure on how that works. But I got that bonus a couple times, and I certainly didn't actually ever find another continent.
By exchanging.
Yeah, the fog of war was disconcerting to me, but I think honestly a lot of that is basically the experience you have with a different system's graphics, right? So as you play more Civ 6, your brain will get more used to these type of graphics. It was off-putting for me a little bit too, but mostly because of my affinity with Civ 5. Yeah, there was, and if you look at that mountain chain north of me, and then the ocean, not the ocean, the snow down below here. Yeah, especially since all my amenities are over by that area that's all snow. There was copper snow over there, which I've never seen. This doesn't happen in Civ 5. I don't think you can have copper snow. And then there was also tundra salt and like crabs buried in the bottom of the ocean of the snow over there.
Thousands have lived without love, not one without water.
Alright. Yep, copper snow's a thing. Wait till you see the barbarians. Alright, so let's talk a little bit more about barbarians. I want to preempt this a little bit. So now apparently there's 3 types of barbarian camps. They have specialties. A barbarian camp and this is again as of like yesterday, I believe. I got forwarded a dev email. One of the PR guys forwarded some questions I had to some devs, and it got forwarded back to me. Barbarians now have 3 types, apparently. There is a generic camp, which is just the one that spawns warriors and archers and that type of shit. There is a camp that's on the coast now, is a navally focused camp, and will predominantly spawn, I don't know if it's predominantly or only, it's probably predominantly, spawn navally based units. And then you can have camps that are near horse units, or near horse tiles on the map, so they're near horse resources. And these specialize in horse units. And horse units are pretty strong. So we'll see that in a minute. So you guys can see how I see his capital city and the immediate tiles around it. That's for my scout getting the hospitality. Alright, so that scout shows up on my border. He just scouted my city. If he makes it back to a barb camp, and good luck chasing down anything that doesn't want to be chased down on this terrain, he will spawn another barb. Yeah, horse archer barbs are amusing, but it's just wait to see this. As I said, I tried out a lot of different early game systems when I was playing through these, and this the barb system was one of the ones that I had the most amusement out of. Aqua. Yeah, barb camp near uranium. I'm curious too. Are there other strategic resources that barbs can take advantage of? I don't know one way or the other.
Have returned.
Welcome back, Goglin. Thank you very much for the resub. You can walk inside the Aztec borders. As I said earlier, there are no borders in the early game, or rather, no closed borders in the early game. So players can move inside and outside of other people's borders. I don't know with military units, scouts for sure. The AI city-states were able to put military units in my borders, and they didn't declare war on me. And I believe that, yes, they do block my workers, I'm pretty sure. So, yep. You could now scout rush your neighbor and not declare war and block all of his workers. Now, he could declare war on you, but that's something. Remember, there's no cities shot either. The early game, your capital has no city shot. You have to build something later that allows you to have some sort of, I believe, city shot thing. I'm not entirely sure. I never built it, but the point for me was early game, your city is a lot more vulnerable than it was before because it doesn't have any innate defenses. So, yeah, we'll see how that turns out. And I honestly think early game units are going to be a lot more important in this game. So we'll see. Is it a hard transition to Civ 6? I've only played 4 hours. Yeah, I need to build a barracks. Barracks was a long-ass build time when I looked at it in my other game. So I'm not sure how viable. I mean, it had other bonuses. Alright, so Barbarian Horseman on my border. This is pretty crazy. If you guys notice, what I just finished, if you look at my tech path, I just finished, I don't even think I've finished Archer here. I'm teching Mining. This is turn 20 in the game, and a Barbarian Horseman has showed up. I did get confirmation from the devs. Supposedly the tech level of the Barbarians being spawned is based on the average tech level. I believe it was. It might be if someone, I think it was either average or 2. I can't remember now, but I have the email. But basically, you're not going to get Barbarian paratroopers in the Ancient Era, right? But I don't know if this includes horse units or not, because unless the AIs on Prince are cheating pretty hard, it's really unlikely. The tech tree looks like this. Horseback riding is quite a bit later, right? It's 3 or 4 or 5 techs from now. And this was pretty early, and Barb Horsemen started spawning. The Horsemen are as strong as warriors, but they're 4 times faster, and the Horse Archers are as strong as Slingers, but 3 or 4 times faster. And the Barbs spawn a lot of these little bastards. And I don't know if this is just intended, or if this is just like pre-game footage, you know, pre-release footage, or if this maybe the technology doesn't get checked when they're near horses. You guys see the horses up in the north over here, that little horse icon up there. The Barb camp is, I think, here in this little bit of fog on the other side of the mountain, and I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's 4 tiles near the horse, away from the horses. So I don't know what adjacency bonuses count for Barbs, but yeah. Anyways. You heal a little bit slower inside your borders. It's 15 inside your borders now instead of the 20 from Civ 5. And remember, fortifying takes your entire turn. So if you hit fortify, your unit can't do anything else. It actually takes your action points away. Did you guys see when I scrolled over? Hold on, maybe we can take a look. I'm not sure if we got it or not. Sorry. Not great fine-tuning on this. I think I can make it go a little bit faster. But let's not fuck with it. If it crashes, I'm going to be pretty annoyed. I want to see that tech tree so I can show you guys where horsemen are yet. You love the new fortify mechanic? Maybe. I don't like the promotion side of that too, which is when you promote a unit, it takes all of your there. So horseback riding is here. If you look at the tech right now, I've only teched my basic luxury tech, which is called an amenity now, and I'm going to have to get used to that. I've checked irrigation, I've checked pottery, and I've checked mining. I haven't even checked basic animal husbandry yet, right? And horseback riding is here, which is basically, you know, if you look at the prerequisites, that's quite a ways still in terms of the amount of science you're going to need to get horseback riding. But I'm getting barbarian horsemen spawning on me. So either the Prince AI cheats, in which case they have access to earlier techs sooner, in which case that brings up the average tech level of everyone and they can spawn barbarians, or barbarians that are near horse tiles are exempt from that rule and can spawn horses sooner. I mean, look, I've only managed to tech 3 techs, and I've been growing non-stop, so it's not like I could get more science from somewhere. I guess I could Eureka moment some shit, maybe. AI could have done all the Eureka moments? Maybe. You guys saw the 2 movement points. Scout has a movement point left, but can't cross the river over there, because rivers now require, I believe it's all your movement points, but it might just be 2. But either way, he can't move across that at all right now, despite having stuff left. Alright, so now, on top of the horseman that was there, horse archers showed up. It's like turn 20. Anyways. Oh, barbs can move and shoot now, I believe. So I think that is fixed. So enemy ranged units are more dangerous than they were before. Yeah, no city shots. It slows down your ability to deal with barbarians. They will pillage, although it takes them an entire turn to pillage. Another scout, if you guys just noticed, the scout popped up over here, saw my shit, and is headed back. Spoiled a Pantheon name for you in a message. There's nothing I can do about that. That's probably fine. Takes all your movement points to shoot? Yeah, it does. No, not like you're thinking. It's just like the Civ 5 mechanic for shooting. I've said for all the terrain, it takes all your movement points, right? But for shooting, it's the same. You can move forward one tile, then shoot. That's fine. It's promoting that takes all your points. We already had a look at one of the natural wonders in the game. No aggro, man. A lot of people are showing off footage of the game as of today. Is zone of control still a thing? Yep. And it's actually visually animated now. It'll be little red boxes around enemy units.